Y'all, let's talk about this Diddy documentary. So I'm watching the doc. I'm like 4 episodes in, and mind you, I'm old enough to kind of know and have watched it in real time. You know what I'm saying? Um, he been famous since I probably been in the 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? So I watched this in real time, and as well as you know, hell, I might even be talking the wrong time frame. Let me think. Yeah, about middle school. So, anyways, I'm watching the documentary, and then I'm seeing what they're showing that's painting Puffy in a really really bad light. And then I realized that his biggest fault was buying into the sex, drugs, and rock and roll culture. You know what I'm saying? Which is very similar to the street culture. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and money, sex, money, drugs, and rock and roll, it go parallel with entertainment and the streets. You know what I'm saying? Where does the drugs come from? Forgive my speech problems this morning. Where does the drugs come from? The streets. What's the point of having the money, the sex, the women, the rock and roll? It's just basically the theme song of your life when you're living like that. So it all go hand in hand. So when you get caught up in that culture and that lifestyle, it comes with criminality. It comes with the disrespect of women. It comes with extortion. It comes with murder for hire. It comes with scrape. It comes with you name it. Overdose. Drug abuse or drug addiction. So I'm not giving Puffy a pass. That's not what this video is about. I'm saying if we looked under the hood of anybody that was a part of that sex, money, drugs, rock and roll culture, we're gonna see a lot of things that we would not agree about, in an open setting. We'll see a lot of dirt being done, a lot of evil being done, for anybody that subscribed to that lifestyle. So now think about the people that grew up listening to it. Because we're victims of, not victims, we are participants in that same culture because we took some of that home with us. The way my language is bad mainly because of the culture that I grew up in. That street culture, the rock and roll, which was rap for my time frame, the culture was vulgar. So me calling women out their name, I was raised on that. And we did it like how they use the N-word as a term of endearment. We did that with bad language towards women. We like, where the hoes at? We wasn't saying, where's those dirty, rotten scoundrels at? We was looking for the women, but we used the words that we were taught to use. We used the same, thought process when it was time to make money. What did we want to make money for? So we could do what the rappers was doing, do what the rock and roll stars was doing what the celebrities was doing. So our whole culture was shaped and raised by the same thing that's getting Diddy in trouble. So my point is, while I'm watching this show, like the documentary, I'm thinking like, who ain't guilty of some of this shit in my time frame? You know what I'm saying? Who did not partake in some form that is older than me. You know what I'm saying? This go before Puffy. You know what I'm saying? This was, you could say this about the 70s and probably before that. So I'm just saying they really made a culture behind people being, you know, doing the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just messed up to see, because now I realize why I'm messed up, why a lot of my bad habits, you know, made me guilty of looking or being or acting just as bad. You know what I'm saying? I damn sure ain't do half of the stuff Dog was doing. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I wasn't a multi-millionaire, damn near billionaire, you know, because that would probably heighten any of the things I did do or would have done. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already going through a transformation in my own life where I want to do better. You know, I want to unlearn my bad habits. Using bad language is one of them. You know, I still slipping, you know, here and there, because everybody around me cuss. You know, everybody around me talk crazy. You know, all the men and women I know use derogatory terms for women and cuss at each other just for regular stuff. You know, people can't say, hand me the mashed potatoes. They like, bitch, hand me the mashed potatoes. Like, this is how people going back and forth with each other. And I'm like, you know what? The culture is bad. The culture is bad. And it's not a race culture. It's a sex, money, drugs, and rock and roll, which many of us grew up on. So I'm trying to separate myself from the bad aspects of that culture. I'm going to keep the good stuff, because don't get me wrong, I like rap. I like rock. I like whatever. I like the culture of the celebration of life, that a lot of that should have been all about only. It should have only been about celebrating life. The violent aspect of it, I'm taking away. The vulgarness of it, I'm gonna, you know, shy away from. So all of the things that I see in that culture that are negative, that's what I'm gonna shy away from. And then all of the celebration and all of the you know, the things that made us feel better, or the game or the wisdom and all that, you can keep that. I want that there. But watching his downfall, Puffy's downfall, I'm just realizing, like, man, we really all got set up. He got set up. He was raised wrong. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of me and my peers was raised wrong. And a lot of our kids are proving that we raised them wrong. And it's the culture. You feel me? So, you know, me going forward, I'm definitely going to really try to watch my language. I'm definitely going to watch how I talk about women. I'm definitely going to watch how I, you know, see, this is another tricky thing about violence, right? I hate the fact that we live in a world that could be so violent for little to nothing. But I'm the same guy that want the show or the movie I watch, I want it to be jam-packed full of violence. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody's head blown off in the first 5 minutes of the damn show. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I don't know if I want to take that away. So it's a contradiction there. You know, I want to still watch my TV, and I still want to see all of this. I want to see the sex, money, drugs, and rock and roll in what I take in on watching the movie. I just don't want it to bleed into our culture. Like, when I grew up, we were always told as kids, TV ain't real. What you see on TV, that's not real. We try to make it real. You know, in my time frame, we tried to make it real. If they put it out there on television, it wasn't long before the culture was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be careful about what we entertain as entertainment. You know, some things we got to say, this is just not good enough. Like the baddie show, this is just not appropriate. I don't care who you are. So many people like it. Me and my daughter was talking about it yesterday. She likes, it was her guilty pleasure, she calls it. My daughter don't act nothing like that. Nothing like that. But she still got caught watching it because it's just like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? She watches it in shame, she says. She said it's shameful to see them women behave like that. You know? And it's a young black woman trying to, you know, not have the stigma that is attached to other women. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of young, good black men who, because of the stigma of these shows and the music, they got to live their life already being judged based on this culture that's fucked up, messed up, based on this culture that's messed up. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to change overnight because I'm 40 something years into this culture, but I am going to make it my business to improve on what I know is wrong. I know it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be in my big old age still acting like, talking like a pimp is cool. Even if you got pee in you, you ain't got to talk like it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got the swag of it, you don't got to talk like it. You know, being disrespectful with my language. It's fun. I use it as comedy. You know what I'm saying? I grew up off of Bernie Mac. I grew off of Corey Holcomb. Comedians that go there with their language and it's funny, you know. But in your real life, it don't translate well. Trust me. Trust me. It do not translate well when you take that culture home with you. And that's what I'm talking about. All of those things we were raised on, all the things that Puffy was raised on, trying to live that for real and taking it out of the music and live it, taking it out of the movies and shows and living it, it ain't nothing but destruction. It's nothing good about it. You know, it leads to nothing but pain. So that's my little rant for this morning. I was watching a Puffy documentary. I ain't finished it, but I know the whole story at this point. But I'm going to just, you know, learn from other people's mistakes. You know, obviously I'm not, again, it's things he did I wouldn't even have thought to do. You know what I'm saying? So dude was on some different type of time, but there are things that he has done where I'm thinking like, well, you know, growing up at my age, we wouldn't have even, like a lot of the people that was around him didn't check it because it was the culture. So for somebody new, young, like, how could y'all live like, he was a monster. I'm sorry, man, but your dad was a monster. Your mom was a monster. Your granddaddy was a monster. Your grandma was a monster because it was a culture. So even though we judging and pointing our finger and shaking our head at these people that's falling now, don't forget, a lot of us was right there with it and we didn't see nothing wrong with it. A lot of the women wanted to be a part of it. A lot of the women wanted to do their own thing. There's a lot of women, especially in that drug, money, sex, rock and roll game, who are predators they damn self. Don't let them start lifting up the hoods of some of those women that were hella successful. And don't think a woman is beyond putting a hit out on somebody. So she probably more likely to put a hit out on somebody. So I'm just saying, as I get older, I really have to analyze myself more and analyze my surroundings. Because part of the reason why I hate the ghetto so much, and I'm a part of, I still live in what you would call the hood a little bit. You know, I love my neighborhood, but it's still considered the hood for those that, you know, don't be over here. But I have a disgust for the ghetto shit. You know, I have fatigue of it. You know, I've been around it too long. And then I never wanted to move my kids into the quote unquote suburbs because I have racist white Karen fatigue too. I don't want my kids the police being called on them just for being black outside of their own house. You know what I'm saying? So I have a fatigue that where people like me can't just go anywhere and think I could just set up shop somewhere and not be harassed. You know, I hate that feeling. But, you know, long story short, I had to analyze that I can't hate all these things if I'm gonna also be a participant. You know what I mean? I got to make sure that I'm living my life and structured my life in a way that don't align with the things that I don't like. And then I would be a hypocrite for sure, you know. So that's the rant. Peace.